Greetings, everyone. This October, we are celebrating the National Museums and Galleries Month and also the Indigenous Peoples Month. So I am Randy Nobleza from the Institute of Arts and Social Sciences, and I'd like to share some background on the extension and community involvement in regards to cultural mapping project in the province of Marinduque. So since 2017, we're able to forge a partnership with the National Commission for Culture and the Arts with the then President, Dr. Marian C. Mani, and the then NCCA Executive Director, Rico S. Pableo. So we started in the town of Mugpug, and we were able to schedule training for the local mapping team by June 2018. And by October, we were also able to have a training with the town of Buena Vista. And from then on, we moved from one town to the next, and we were able to produce at least one completed and turned over local culture profile in the town of Santa Cruz. So there are at least 7 phases of cultural mapping project. So we start with the scoping and negotiation when we explain to the sponsoring local government unit, and we identify the mappers during the next phase of the CMAP or cultural mapping project with the social preparation. And after that, we'll be conducting at least 5 days for the training of local mappers where NCCA assigns or hires a facilitator. So it so happened that we were trained in 2017 and we were deployed in 2018, the following year. And after the 5 days training, there would be a data gathering phase, which would take place with a span of at least 6 months. And after which there would be a couple of follow-up visits. During the first follow-up visit, there would be at least 50% of the target has been met, and around with 80% or completed the data gathering phase. So we would have the second follow-up visit. So this is during the pre-pandemic days. So after the couple of data gathering, we'd be having the community validation where NCCA invites external validators and identified culture bearers and key informants from the community would be joining as internal validators. And with the process, the whole community participate, and by then they would be able to point out the comments and the suggestions so that the local culture profile would be finalized. And after it gets finalized, it would be turned over by the LGU to the National Commission for Culture and Arts. And this is the second to the last phase before the last phase, the analysis with the results and the planning that comes after. So this phase is about the utilization of the results of the local culture profile. So going back to the objectives. So there's already a toolkit around 2019. It was published. So it was based on the experience on the ground. So the trained facilitators are also using the same toolkit with the standardized forms for mapping. So there are at least 5 objectives. So one is to understand basic frameworks on culture and heritage based on the National Heritage Act of 2009 or RA 10066. So the second objective is to appreciate the value of various cultural resources in the community. The third objective is to apply different tools and methods for gathering, classifying, and analyzing local culture data. So the fourth objective is to consolidate the local culture profile and generate um, some baseline data for cultural statistics. And the last objective of the cultural mapping project is to recommend certain mechanisms to integrate the profiles and baseline statistics for LGU development plans, programs, and activities. So before, uh, cultural mapping project used to be a technical assistance. So NCCA takes care of the facilitators while the LGU for their counterpart takes care of their local mapping team. But in from 2020 onwards, especially during the time of pandemic, it was transformed into a grant. So the NCCA provides funding to the local government unit so that they can pursue uh, cultural mapping even in the times of pandemic. So let me talk about the status of the cultural mapping project in the province of Marinduque and also in the region of Mimaropa and beyond the Marinduque and Mimaropa. So as I mentioned, we started with the town of Mugpog in June 2018, and before the last quarter and ended in 2018, we were able to train one more set of local mapping team in the town of Buena Vista. So at the moment, Mugpog is still in their data gathering phase and they are preparing for the community validation. So this is understandable because during the time it was still technical assistance and not yet a grant. So same case with the town of Buena Vista. But in the town of Buena Vista, after the training, they were able to have the first follow-up visit along with Mugpog, but that's where they stopped. But they were able to pick it up and they were able to publish coffee table book based on the initial results of cultural mapping. So that's the Buena Vista Coffee Table book. So at the moment, they're not yet decided to pursue the data gathering or to proceed to the community validation. So it's a good thing that in between we were able to uh, diversify some uh, cultural mapping trainings. So not only within the town of uh, Mugpog and Buena Vista, also in the province of Marinduque. So I was assigned to conduct the social preparation in the Sibuyan Island in the town of San Fernando around 2019 before the pandemic struck by the following year. So we were also able to train the local mapping team of Sagada in Cordillera Administrative Region and Tiwi Albay again in 2019. But so far, they were only able to have the first follow-up visit and they're doing still the data gathering process since there's the national health, even a global health crisis. So quite recently, we're also able to train via online and flexible modalities the local mapping team of Sofronio Española in Palawan and also actually this previous week, October 4 to 8, we were able to we were able to train the local mapping team of Mansalay Oriental Mindoro. So going back to the town of the other towns of Marinduque, as I mentioned, Santa Cruz were able to do the training via Zoom and also in the town of Gasan. But Gasan is still doing their finalization, and they're about to turn over the local culture profile that is finalized. So they were able to pass through the community validation phase, and Santa Cruz has been able to turn over their local culture profile last July. And I hope that within the last quarter, Gasan would be able to do the same. And the last two towns, Torrijos is contemplating whether or not to pursue, because they are also grantees of culture mapping project from NCCA, just like Gasan and Santa Cruz. That's why compared to Mugpog and Buena Vista, so they have uh, funding from NCCA, and also in the time of pandemic. So Santa Cruz was able to do it in 2020 by October, and by December they were able to have their validation, and just this April to May they're already finalized their local culture profile before they turned it over last July 21. Gasan was able to have their training last February this year, so they're just having a hard time in finalizing their uh, local culture profile. But I am confident that they would be able to deliver on time, because if they are grantees, they need to also liquidate their expenses. So that's about it, the status of cultural mapping project in the town of Marinduque, also in the region 4B in Mimaropa, and also beyond Marinduque and Mimaropa. So Mugpog is not yet done, but they're preparing for their community validation, and by next year they would pursue this and have not only the local culture profile, but they are intending to also have a coffee table book similar to that of Buena Vista. And Santa Cruz was able to turn over their local culture profile, and Gasan is hoping to do the same. While Torrijos and Buac, the capital town of Buac, I did not mention, but Buac has already undergone cultural mapping, but with the University of Santo Tomas around 2011 to 2013. So they're done already, but their templates and their forms are not yet standardized, but they have their respective output. And we're also fortunate enough to experience cultural mapping in Sagada and also in Tiwi. And this is very helpful. And more helpful is we are also serving our fellow Mimaropans in Palawan, in Romblon, and also in Mindoro. So in the end, I'd like to share the harmonized agenda in 2018 that I believe that Marinduque State College of today is updating, suitable for the pandemic or post-pandemic futures, when in Marinduque would become a state university. So there are at least 10 agendum that is devoted to culture and values. So I am proud that number one of this agendum is about culture and heritage mapping. And second would be about humanities. So this is very timely because this was conceptualized during the time when the School of Arts and Sciences and the School of Education are still separate schools or entity. So now they are combined with the Institute of Arts and Social Sciences. So the third agenda is education and pedagogy. So the School of Graduate Education and Professional Studies is also offering a diploma course on cultural education. And we also have an undergrad program with Bachelors of Culture, Arts, and Education. This is a pioneering program so that the graduate of special program of the arts in the middle school in grade 11 and 12, they would have something to transition in their college. And after they graduate, they could become teachers and also enroll in, hopefully, we already have a MAED program in cultural education. And the fourth agenda is about history and social sciences. So we are also interested with the local history. So last 2020, Marinduque just celebrated its 100 years of autonomy from the neighboring province of Tayabas, formerly Tayabas and nowadays Quezon. So we were funded internally and came up with a collaborative research with the School of Education and the School of Arts and Sciences. And number five, so this is about Advocacine. So Advocacine is a annual perennial event of the Marinduque Alliance of Youth Advocates. So this is a youth organization supported by the international non-governmental organization, um, and they used to stay in the selected towns in Marinduque, especially in Buena Vista. So the Norwegian Mission Alliance was able to come up with a youth organization, which is Maya, and Maya organized the 1 minute video competition about their respective advocacy. So when they asked for School of Arts and Sciences some technical assistance, so we developed advocacy so that it would reach a larger audience. And especially nowadays during the pandemic, so we still have to use the power of media for such advocacies. And number six, so it's about language enhancement. So in due respect to the previous trust and the priorities of the arts and sciences before becoming IAS and transitioning from the liberal arts curriculum. So we have this traditional language, English language enhancement for an extension. And likewise, number seven, so we also have a journalism extension where we cater both public and private schools. So the private school, we train student journalists from Marinduque Academy in the town of Mugpog, and we also train some students of the Marinduque Comprehensive National High School, also in the same town, in Mugpog. So it's good that not only we give some training, but we also have MSc Extramural Study Center in the town Mugpog already. So number eight, theater production is our one of our agenda. So theater production, we have the MSc Theater Guild. So it was organized a number of years ago with the leadership of Mrs. Rosalinda Castro. So it was known as Teatro Marinduqueño before, and it was transformed to MSc Theater Guild. So most of our students from both AB English and Communication, they are the ones who are joining the theater production. And just this year, even in the times of COVID-19, were able to mount digitized and recorded theater production. So second to the last, before we implemented the new English language studies curriculum, so we used to have at least 5 literature subjects. So we have world literature, Philippine literature, Afro-Asian, Anglo-American, and European literature. So we have lots and lots of literature subjects. So it's good thing that some of the literature major, not actually literature major, but English language studies major. So they were the ones around 2014 and 15 who organized MSc Literature Club. So they are the ones who are taking up creative writing courses, and they were able to put out some literary folio. So in 2018 and 19. Just to continue, so with the harmonized agenda in 2018, the last item is about arts and crafts. So MSc is putting out a museum, but it's still a museum in conceptualization. But we already undergone some training with the UP Baguio because they have the Museo Cordillera, and this is sponsored by the Commission on Higher Education Program. So since 2020, when we needed to pivot from the traditional face-to-face to a more flexible and digital learning environment. So the same 10 agenda corresponds to the program area 7, culture and values. So this is also encapsulated in the Philippine Development Plan in chapter 7 about cultures and values. So out of this, we're able to graph the R&D priority areas in 1 to 10. So from cultural heritage mapping to humanities, education and pedagogy, history and social sciences, language and culture, arts and crafts, language enhancement, journalism, theater production, and advocacy. So let me just focus on the expected outcomes of the said agenda and priority areas. So the first agenda is about culture and heritage mapping. So the expected outcome is to have an effective preservation and transmission of political and cultural heritage. So we did not encounter much problem despite the inconvenience of COVID-19. So still we were able to carry out cultural and heritage mapping even in the digital and online environment. And I like to believe that we're able to help in the preservation and transmission of cultural heritage through mapping. So might it be a technical assistance or a grant from NCCA to the respective LGUs or local governments. So the next priority area is about humanities. So the expected outcome is effective documentation, preservation, and transmission of culture. So this is quite related to the first agenda. So of course, what we are aiming at is to conserve, preserve, and also protect. So after we raise some awareness and we made use of cultural lens, so the next step is to conserve and preserve and eventually protect our cultural assets. So the third one is about education and pedagogy. Therefore, the expected studies on methods and strategies of teaching, tracer studies, assessment of learning, and curriculum development. So we started the graduate diploma in culture education in 2019, and we were able to have the first batch. So at the moment, started from 2020 until 2021, we'll have batch 2. And by then, I think we'd have the first batch of the PICAED undergraduate program. And the first batch would be part of the pool of the MAED and cultural education, hopefully to be offered by the School of Graduate Education and Professional Studies in the near future. So for history and social sciences, so the expected outcomes is collaborative studies for the preservation and management of cultural heritage. So therefore, we are not working in silos. So we need to collaborate with other institutions. So that's why we are a member of the National Research Council of the Philippines uh, in the humanities division. So this is where we meet our contemporaries and our peers and even our former teachers and students alike. And that's where we collaborate in certain aspects of cultural heritage. So number 5, regarding language and culture, so the expected outcome is to have integrative and collaborative studies for preservation and conservation. So the same thing. So we are already in the phase where our former students are already our colleagues and peers, and they are starting to have their own advocacies. So like the Heart Council and the Heart Movement, so they already have their own activities, they have their own webinar series, and we're excited in the near future when they continue their advocacies even in the digital and online environment. So for arts and crafts, so the expected output or outcomes is to have an effective preservation of Marinduque's arts and crafts. So therefore, in Marinduque, based on cultural mapping, we're able to identify the intangible cultural heritage and by so doing, we'll be able to identify the cultural masters and the culture bearers and the practitioners, and you'll be able to provide more support so that they can transmit their indigenous knowledge uh, to the people they are living with in the same community. And in the near future, so we'd try to also expand and provide more service to others. So even with our province mate from the Mimaropa region, because for example, Moriones as an intangible cultural practice is not only present in Marinduque, but it also travels in other neighboring parts of Mimaropa and even in Calabarzon. So there's in Quezon, there's also in Mindoro. So next, about language and enhancement. So we expect to have a outcome, effective and efficient programs for language enhancement. So based on our prior experience with the daycare workers, and I think right now we are working with the Department of Inter and Local Governance, and we shared this in one town, also in Mugpog, with the barangay officials. So they're the ones who are trained or being trained in language enhancement instead of the daycare workers. So the wisdom of this is they already have the structure to serve our public servants. So number 8, regarding journalism. So the expected outcomes is responsible and reliable journalism for all, especially in the election season. So there are a lot of media outlets who are just mushrooming, and they just appear when election comes, and after the election they fold up. So no more journalists or responsible citizens. So that's why we need to have more reliable and responsible community journalists. So not only for the competition in the press conferences. So number 9, regarding theater production. So the expected outcome is to have a world-class theater production. So hopefully we can continue. We were able to begin with Gethsemane. So we hope that we can continue and have more production. So we were planning to have a short film, but we have to wait and see if the quarantine status would improve. But definitely, this is among the plans of the Culture and Arts Unit of the college. It's part of the continuity plan. So hopefully, we'll be able to have these expected outcomes as well. And for the last one, for the last priority area or agenda about advocacy, so we also have expected outcomes, which is to have a world-class film production. So it's resonating not only with theater but also with the medium of film. So this is also part and parcel of the Litera Club. So they're going to develop the concept and write the script and try it for the stage for a theater production and eventually adapt this in the film medium. So especially in times of pandemic. So to end, there are lots of implication and insights from the experience of cultural mapping. So for community involvement, we are able to reach farther the towns of Marinduque and also in the region of Mimaropa. And because of this setup, we're also able to reach others beyond our borders. And this is consistent with our harmonized agenda and our priority areas. And the expected outcomes are congruent to this. Hopefully, we'll be able to provide the necessary documents and evidences to make it more coherent and substantive for the succeeding years. And we welcome the input and the suggestion of our accreditors. So on that note, thank you. And again, I greet you with this month of October. Happy Museums and Galleries Month and Indigenous Peoples Month. So keep safe and stay healthy.